My name is Kira. Have you ever noticed how some radio static sounds different? Not loud, not sharp, just waiting. But sometimes you can still find a frequency buried in the noise from an abandoned radio station known as the buzzer. It has an abandoned call sign, but it still has a continuous, mysterious broadcast. If you tune in, it has just a number, 4625 kHz AM. Old shortwave radios can find it. Some say it's just an empty channel, but others say it listens back. Maybe it knows something about you. Maybe it remembers you. I didn't believe it either, until I heard my own voice whispering through the static. These are 4 true accounts, or maybe 4 warnings. Either way, once you hear it, it's already too late. I don't usually buy junk at estate sales, but last winter I was killing time in a small lake town in upstate Minnesota. Cold as hell, snow coming down sideways. Snowmobiles, also known as snow hornets, buzzing along every roadside. I ducked into this old run-down house where they were selling off the remnants of someone's life. Mismatched furniture, knickknacks and trinkets, cracked photo frames, broken clocks, and in the corner, a table with old electronics. That's where I saw it. A dusty shortwave radio, real analog, big dials, wood frame like my father used to have. Still smelled faintly like cigars and basement air. I didn't need it, but it looked cool, would fit in my cabin. Vintage. Something about it felt familiar. $10. I bought it, shoved it into the back seat of my Jeep, and forgot about it for a few days. The first night I powered it up at my cabin was just after a long storm that had knocked out the internet. I figured I'd kill a little time from my paranormal research. The dial was misaligned, slightly off from the usual stations. Most of what came through was just static, but there was a quieter spot on the dial at 4625 kHz AM, right between 2 other frequencies, where the static thinned out. And I heard something, a whisper, soft, barely audible. But what stopped me cold was that it said my name, Kira, clear as day.
Hey Kira, are you listening? Can you hear me? Are you there?
At first I laughed. I thought it was a prank, maybe some odd bleed-in from a broadcast. But then it started listing off things, personal things, details no one could possibly know, where I buried my dog when I was 9, the lie I told to get out of jury duty, a nickname only my mother used when I was sick. I turned it off, unplugged it, shoved it in the closet, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. 2 nights later, I turned it on again, in the same spot, the same strange frequency. This time the voice wasn't just whispering facts, it was asking questions, things I hadn't thought about in years, private thoughts, regrets, sexual fantasies. And then I realized something far worse. The voice sounded like me, not exactly, but close enough to freeze the blood in my veins, like a recording of me talking in my sleep. I told myself it was a trick of the signal. Maybe my own mind was filling in the blanks, pareidolia of the ears. But each night, the voice became clearer, more confident. It stopped whispering. It started conversing. At around 2 a.m. on a Wednesday night, it said,
"Tomorrow, your upstairs neighbor will knock. Don't answer. She's not really your neighbor."
I laughed nervously. I live alone in a cabin on a remote lake in the North Woods. No one was going to be above me. But the next night, just after my grandfather clock chimed 12 midnight, there was something knocking from above, not from the front door, from my roof, slow, heavy. I didn't sleep that night, firearm close. I didn't move. My dog had heard it too, growling low, ears back, sharp teeth snarling, protective. After that, I started writing things down, everything the voice said. It predicted a small car accident I would witness at a gas station, the email I'd received from a job I never applied for, the death of someone I hadn't spoken to in years. Every prediction came true, until one night, it stopped predicting. It simply said,
"You shouldn't have listened."
Just that, over and over.
"You shouldn't have listened. You shouldn't have listened. You shouldn't."
I yanked the cord out of the wall and threw the damn thing onto the porch. That radio didn't just receive signals, it transmitted something, and I'm not sure it could be stopped. The next morning, it was gone. Just gone. No broken pieces, no damage, just vanished. I thought I imagined the whole thing, if not for one last terrifying moment. That morning, right as I was pouring my coffee, someone or something knocked on my door. When I opened the door, there was the radio on the doorstep, unplugged, broken, but somehow it was on, saying over and over,
"Kira, I need you to listen. Help me. Kira, 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 I need you to listen. Help me." Hey, David here. Have you ever heard a story that messes with you? Not because it's scary, but because something about it feels true. That's how I felt when my friend Kira told me what happened with that old shortwave radio, the one that talked back. At first, I thought it was a bit of a performance, some ARG or creepypasta thing, but there was something in her voice that night. Maybe it was the mead we drank while sitting in her dimly lit cabin. But I don't think so, as a slightly trembling voice told me that it wasn't just a story. Listening to it felt more like a confession. I didn't say anything then, just nodded and let her talk. But the truth is, I couldn't stop thinking about it. When I got home, I remembered something. My dad, who passed away a few years back, used to be big into ham radio. He had this rig set up in the garage. Towers, dials, headsets, handhelds, notebooks full of call signs. The whole thing had been gathering dust since before he died. That night, I dug it out just to see. It took a while to power everything on. But when the tubes warmed up and that familiar static started hissing, something in me clicked. It was like the air itself changed. I scanned the dial aimlessly at first. White noise, bursts of foreign chatter, bits of music. But then, just like in her story, I found it. 4625 kilohertz, AM, the ghost frequency, or somewhere close. It had no ID, no call sign, just silence, dead air. I waited and waited until faintly a voice came through. At first, I didn't recognize it. It was muffled, distorted, like it was underwater, but there was a rhythm to it, a tenderness. And then I realized it was my mother's voice, a voice I missed a lot, soft, gentle, exactly the way she used to talk to me when I couldn't sleep. The thing is, my mother's been dead for 10 years. I turned off the radio, sat in the dark for a long time, told myself it was some old tape, maybe a coincidence, a broadcast from long ago, bouncing back through the ethers. But the next night, I went back, and this time, she said my name clearly, David.
It's okay, David. I'm here. Come visit me.
The voice didn't just play on a loop. It responded. When I whispered, "Where are you?" she answered,
Where we used to go, behind the house. You know, the meadow next to the creek by the tower, where we used to have picnics.
"That place. It was in the woods, behind the house I grew up in. We used to hike there when I was little, talking non-stop, always wondering what surprises were in the picnic basket she had packed. There's an old service road that cuts through the woods. Nobody goes back there anymore, except that night I did. It was cold, quiet, no sounds, no wind, just my boots crunching on leaves and a strange rhythmic static coming from the small handheld ham radio I brought with me. I followed her voice. The more I got closer, the stronger it sounded. It was like the trees were conducting the radio. And then I saw it, rusted, covered in moss, a tall broadcast tower, abandoned. If anyone could see me, I looked like a silly cartoon character, mouth open, eyes wide, probably drooling a little. The tower was blinking, still active, a red light at the top pulsing like a heartbeat. It shouldn't have been working. The fencing around it had collapsed years ago. No power lines, no generator. But I could hear her, clear as day now.
David, I'm so proud of you. You found me.
That's the last thing I clearly remember. I must have passed out or something. Because when I came to, it was dawn, and I was lying at the base of the tower, woken up by ants crawling on me. I checked the radio. No signal, no voice. Just an eerie silence pressing in from all sides. I haven't told anyone what happened, not even my friend Kira. But I went back to the garage a few nights ago, to the radio, and just before I turned it off, I heard a voice I didn't expect. It wasn't my mother's, it was mine, and it said, "Now it's your turn." What you hear when you tune into the ghost frequency are echoes of who you miss most, or just echoes. But if you follow the voices too far, you might not come back.
My name is Donnie, inmate 1217. Have you ever done something so stupid just because you were daring yourself not to be scared? That's how this started. There was this old urban legend around my college campus about a ghost frequency. Channel 4, 625 kilohertz, AM. Supposedly, if you tune into it on certain radios, you know, like shortwave and ham radios, you can hear voices. Sometimes your own, sometimes people you've lost. Total paranormal material. My buddy Nate had found some urban legend Reddit threads, blurry photos, you know, classic rabbit hole stuff. And then he found the location. There was an abandoned signal relay station about 30 miles outside of town. Middle of nowhere. No power, no fencing. Just a rotting concrete block with a rusted satellite dish on top. According to old records, it used to rebroadcast shortwave signals, including channel 4625 kilohertz back in the 70s. So of course, we had to check it out for content. We were going to live stream the whole thing, you know, debunk it, get spooked, rack up views. It was me, Nate, and Jordan, my college buddies. We went out on a Saturday night in 2003, brought gear, flashlights, GoPros, EMF readers just for the hell of it. The building was in an advanced state of decay. Broken windows, rotting stairs. Everything smelled like whetstone and mildew. But once we got inside, it was weirdly intact. Dusty, yeah, but the equipment was still there. Consoles, reels, shelves of logbooks, like someone had just, left. Then we noticed the main console. It was set to 4,625 kilohertz. We started the stream. Nate was narrating. Jordan was filming. I was checking the logs. That's when I found the first journal at the main console. Most of it was technical. Signal strength, weather patterns, until the last few pages. It was written in a different hand, different ink. Panicked. One entry said, "There are voices in the walls, not only from the radio, from inside." Another said, "She told me not to listen, but it's clearer now. It knows my name." We laughed it off. Said it was probably some intern messing around. Until the first GoPro glitched. Jordan's camera started cutting out, flickering. Every few seconds the screen would freeze, then jump ahead, like time was missing. And Nate, he kept saying he heard someone calling him, whispering from behind a sealed door in the back. We replayed the footage and heard it too. It was his own voice, whispering,
"Come in. It's safe now."
We tried to open the door. It was locked. No handle. Jordan started pounding on it, half joking, until he said,
"Wait, did one of you just go in?"
We turned. Nate was gone. Just vanished. We called out, checked the hallway. No reply. Just a faint buzzing from the old speakers on the wall. Then, we heard Nate's voice.
"Guys, where are you? It's dark. I can't see anything."
But it wasn't coming from behind the door. It was coming from the equipment. The console was glowing dimly, like it was warming up slowly after being turned on. And the reels, they were playing on their own. Old cracked tape spinning slowly. But the voice was crystal clear.
"Guys? Guys? Where are you?"
We tried to shut everything down. Unplug it. It didn't matter. The electricity was turned off decades ago, and the voice kept playing. Then the lights blew out in our flashlights. Total blackout. I fumbled for my backup flashlight. I could hear Jordan breathing hard next to me. Then it stopped. Then, another voice came through the static. His voice.
"Let me out. Donnie, where am I?"
I spun the flashlight around. Now Jordan was gone. It was just me now, alone. And the machines kept playing. Console glowing a deep pulsating, unnatural red color. I panicked. I don't remember leaving. I just remember running, falling down the stairs, bleeding from hands, knees, and my head. Blood streaming down my face, bursting out into the cold night air. I drove home without thinking, didn't even turn the live stream off. Sat staring blankly out my window until dawn. Here's the part that messes me up the most. When I finally got up the courage, I checked the stream archive, and I'm in it, still in it. At the end, after I ran, the footage glitches, and there I am, standing in the signal room, not moving, just staring at the camera. It loops every 43 seconds, over and over, like someone keeps hitting replay. It's like I never left. Maybe I didn't. The police didn't buy my story. Some frequencies aren't just sound. They're a doorway. And some of us, like my two buddies, don't come back through.
Kira here. I'm in a tiny remote cabin in Washington State. I don't know how many people will hear this, or if anyone's still listening, but I need to warn you, before it finds someone else. If you ever tune into 4625 kHz AM, or any dead frequency that has static, no signal, abandoned, or no call sign, or a gap between stations, and you hear something, anything, don't listen. I don't mean to just ignore it. I mean, turn it off, walk away. Burn the radio if you have to, because it's not just noise, it's not just a frequency, it's a presence. And once it knows you're listening, it doesn't let go. This started with that old shortwave radio I bought last winter. It whispered things, secrets. Then it started using my voice. And then it started predicting things. I told you that part already. You've probably heard the story. But what I didn't tell you, what I couldn't tell you, is what came after. I made the radio disappear by using it for target practice until there was nothing left of it. Used my 9mm handgun first, then my AR-15, ending up with my 12-gauge shotgun until there wasn't much left, at least nothing whole. Felt smug and justified, as there wasn't so much as a glow emanating from the bits and pieces. But then within days after decimating it, I started hearing the frequency in other places. Not just radios, it came through my TV, even when it was unplugged. Faint whispers in the microwave hum, in the ringtones on my phone, twisted versions of songs I never downloaded on my computer. My radio in my Jeep, even turned off, would start to statically whisper. I would even hear my name in the vibrations of my washer and dryer. I'd hear voices in the silence between sentences, in the space between thoughts, and always, always, they'd say, "Are you still listening?" I moved, packed up a few essentials, locked the cabin down tight, and let my friend Eve caretake the place with her 2 Anatolian shepherds. Told her she could park her Airstream on the RV pad down by the lake. Said I was going on an indefinite road trip. I tossed every electronic I owned, even extracting my Jeep's radio. Lived in a motel for 3 months in the mountains of Idaho. Cash only, no phone, no TV, no music, just silence. It followed me anyway. I started seeing it, not just hearing it. Reflections, mirrors, windows, puddles, all just a little too slow to match me. My mouth would move, then the reflection would follow, eyes blinking out of sync, smiling when I wasn't. You know, mirrors not quite reflecting right. Like something inside the glass was learning how to be me. I started noticing changes, objects slightly out of place, my own handwriting in notebooks I didn't remember writing. And the worst part, I absent-mindedly bought a cheap recorder to go with my journals for quick dictation, forgetting it was electronic. The weird thing was, I'd find old recordings, my voice, reading journal entries I hadn't written yet. One night, I played one back and it said, "If you're hearing this, it's already too late." I tried to record everything, log it, make sense of it. But every time I listened back, my voice would shift, become less me, until it wasn't mine at all. Until it said things I didn't say.
I am still listening. We are all listening.
That's when I got rid of the recorder. I threw it in a fire while I was camping. I watched it burn to ash. I thought I heard screaming coming faintly from the flames, faces in the flickers. I think the frequency is alive, or maybe not alive, but aware. It's learning you. It watches, it feels, it listens, it senses, almost tasting you. And the more you listen, the more access it has. It doesn't need the radio anymore or any electronic device. You become the broadcast. I'm telling you this now, from a place with no signals, deep woods, no Wi-Fi, no power lines. Wearing the proverbial aluminum foil hat like some mad lunatic, I talk to no one. I write nothing. And yet, the static is still closer than it should be. I can hear it right now, behind the trees, under the floorboards, inside the quiet. I don't know how long I have left before I stop being me. Lately, I've started repeating things, phrases, like a loop, like a loop, like a loop.
You shouldn't have listened. still listening? It doesn't let go.
If you're hearing this, I'm sorry. I think I'm just.
Let me tell you what happened to me.
If you like this content, do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.